In the last video, we just didn't have the time to finish problem 3b. So let's take a look at problem 3b again. So they gave us the volume and we have to find the surface area of a sphere. Okay, so we know that the formula for volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. And for the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. And so we have to have the radius in order to solve this, but they didn't give it to us. So we're just going to go ahead and substitute the volume into our volume formula, and we're going to solve for the radius. So when I multiply both sides by 3, I get 420 equals 4 pi r cubed, and then I'm going to divide each side by 4 pi to get my radius by itself. So I know my radius cubed is 420 over 4 pi. So I want you to plug that into your calculator, and remember, put parentheses around the 4 pi or else your calculation will not be correct. So 420 divided by parenthesis 4 pi parenthesis is approximately 33.423. So remember, when you take the cube root, okay, if you have a cube root button, it'll look like this. It's usually a second function. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's got its own button. But most of the time it's above the x cubed button. Some of us don't have a cube root button. We have a caret button. My calculator has this caret button. So plug in, if you have the caret button, put this in, hit your caret button, and then I know for a cube root that the exponent I would use would be 1 divided by 3, an exponent of 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that calculation. And for r, when I take the cube root of 33.423, I get a number that's approximately 3.221. And that's the number I'm going to use for my surface area formula. So when I calculate the surface area, I get 4 pi times 3.221 squared. So when I square 3.221, I get approximately 10.374841. Now I'm just going to multiply that by 4 and pi. And I approximately get 130.37400971. And you don't really need to write out all these digits because we're going to round to the nearest whole number. We only need to look at the first decimal place. That tells me whether I should keep the 130 or round it up to 131. So I'm going to keep it. So I have 130, and I know my dimensions here were in inches, and I know that area is inches squared. So my surface area is approximately 130 inches squared for this sphere. And that's how you should be doing the last two problems.